Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 160D. This is a push-pull bar set that we're going to review in this video, and I'm going to remove it from all of its packaging that's here. And the set that we have here is a very typical and common set in both the hardware mounting package and the size. And we're going to get to all of that information. The name Hager is synonymous with many items, and trim and auxiliary is, of course, one of those types of items. So let's take a look at this bar. Now, the hardware package that I just unwrapped and I'm going to go over with you shortly is the D package, which is the standard hardware set that you're going to get with the with this pull, unless it's otherwise specified. And options to specify other mounting types are available, but unless one is specified, then the D package is what you're going to get. And as I'm unpacking this, I'll tell you about that. The D package is going to give you a spanner collar connection between the push and pull bars. And then you're going to get two of what they call Type 1 connections for what are considered the free ends. So you have the common end, and if you use your imagination, you can see why they would call it the common end. And then you're going to have the free ends. The free ends are, of course, those ends that don't go back to anything. Now, a spanner collar allows you to install the material by using a bolt that is a reverse, well, it's a left-hand thread on one end and a right-hand thread on the other. And that would allow you to rotate the spanner collar to get yourself so that you can draw the two pieces together. And we're going to go over that as soon as I open up the sarcophagus they've created to package this, which is a good thing, a very good thing. When you're cutting this open, be sure that your blade does not stick out too far. You don't want to unintentionally scratch anything. Beautiful. Okay, so the 160D is going to be literally defined as a push and pull bar set, but you're going to have, when it comes to the push bar, the requirement to define the center to center. Now, there is no hard and fast rule of what that center to center is, but there will be common sizes. 33-inch center to center is probably the most common size. If you had a 3-foot door and these bars were 33-inch center to center, you'd very likely be centering that on your narrow style aluminum storefront. If you had 3-inch stiles, you'd be centering it right in there. Because the 160 is also defined as the diameter of the bar, you'll have a 34-inch overall size if you were doing a 33-inch center to center. Now, the D in the part number here is where we're picking up the D mount package of the installation, of the mounting package. And everything here is now, also as a result, just as an aside of this mounting package, these units are inherently handed, meaning you have to tell us the swing of the door, left-hand reverse or right-hand reverse, I'm sure, would be the common way that you're going to have these, certainly. So be sure to indicate the handing. There's a handing chart down below where you can, if you're unsure of what we mean when we say right-hand reverse, you'll see a diagram of what that looks like. Now, the Hager 160, then the letter D defines the D package. The mounting bolts that we have here, and there is a link below this video to the installation instructions, show you how this all works out. You're going to have a spanner collar. You know what, let's do the free ends first. The free ends. What you may or may not notice, and what you need to note immediately, is that the size of the tapped hole in both the pull and the push are different. They are literally tapped different sizes, meaning the free end is going to take this 5/16 bolt in typical through bolt fashion is how you're going to mount it. Okay? You're going to have the countersunk washer to trim off what that's going to look like when it's all said and done. However, this bolt's not going to work in the common end. Okay, so your two free ends, you're going to use the the 5/16 flathead stove bolts that are included with the finish washers or the countersunk washers. Okay, you're going to have your spanner bolt. You're going to have two different threads that are here. You are going to the installation instructions literally tell you how this is to be mounted, and the little short end, according to the installation instructions, is going to be mounted to your push bar, and it's a left thread, so you're literally going to turn it counterclockwise to draw it in. Now, the installation instructions tell us that you are to insert that bolt and rotate it, I think, between 2 and 4 revolutions. Let's review that. The spanner, screw finer threaded end of spanner stud into hole of top pull. Okay, so the finer end, you can see that that's the finer end, meaning the threads are closer, will go into the top end of the pull. Oh, forgive me. Now, inherently, when we do that, this makes this a handed unit because this is the common end, and that bar is going to have to come back this way. Therefore, from your perspective, this door is a right-hand reverse. And indeed, on this order, the client ordered a right-hand reverse. You cannot take and flip this over. You can if you want the pull pointed towards the top of the door or above the push, but that would be atypical. You would not see that at all. So, screw finer threaded end of spanner stud into the top of the pull. 2 to 4 turns. Okay. Position the pull so that the installed stud goes through a 7/16 hole that you've previously drilled to the proper centers. So it's going to go through the hole. Then you're going to take your spanner collar, and that's going to fit over the smooth end. All of this area is the door. Okay? That spanner collar's got a couple of holes there, and that's so that you can tighten it with the spanner wrench. Now, an interesting thing might occur to you. You've got some thickness here. Let's just agree it's a 1/2 of an inch, because it probably is. What you're going to notice, and you kind of can by looking at it, I suppose if you're being very observant, but when I looked at the spanner collar the first time, I said, well, gosh, those ends of the pull have to be different. You can see you got about 2 inch there. You can see over here, you got about 2 1/2. Okay? Obviously, the shorter end is what's going to fit on top of that spanner collar. Okay? It's really nice to have the spanner collar type of mount because it makes that common end incredibly durable. You're not relying on a set screw into a cone-style bolt to keep that secure, which is, over time, a maintenance problem. That needs to be tightened all the time is what I'm trying to say. I would certainly argue that a spanner is going to give you a much higher caliber, long-lasting, stronger installation. The downside, of course, of the spanner concept is you're handing the product. You have to know the hand, and you have to order it the proper hand. I would certainly argue that the advantage of having that spanner collar connection would certainly outweigh having to order these handed. But you'll want to be mindful that you can't reverse these at all, is just the bottom line. Now, looking through the installation instructions further, you're going to have your spanner collar, and then obviously what's going to happen is you're going to take this You're going to communicate all that together. Then you're going to use that spanner wrench, and you're just going to tighten that. And tightening it clockwise is what's going to give you the bringing of these pulls together. And then when you add the pull and the spanner collar thickness together, you'll have the same projection as the opposite end. Okay. Now, the rest of the installation instructions. Step 3, thread spanner collar onto protruding spanner stud. Slide it over. Insert through bolt with finish washer through door and into threaded hole in bottom pull leg. So now you're going to bring in the bottom end with your countersunk washers and your flathead stove bolts. Fasten the door hinge edge the same way, inserting it through. I'd like to keep it all kind of loose a little bit so that you can put a level on it, you know, and make sure everything is perfectly correct. Thread other end of push bar onto spanner stud by using the spanner wrench. Clockwise direction. Tighten all hardware, so push, pull is securely fastened to the door. This installation instruction will also talk to you about the B-type mount and the V-type mount as well, which concealed mount is really what you're dealing with the V on the free end so that you don't see the bolts. And then the B-type mount will still be a through bolt, but it will be a decorative bolt. It will be a cap that will look about like this and will be flush, and the threaded bolt will be coming out of it so that you have a decorative flat cap hanging off there. Okay. Now, regarding this pull as well, dimensionally, we know that we have a 1-inch bar stock. The diameter of the 160 is 1 inch. Okay. 1-inch diameter bar stock. Now, the next thing, since we're talking about the pull, is the projection of that, or the clearance. And the 160 series is going to give us a 2.5-inch projection, which means that that clearance is going to be 1.5 inches. I'm really seeing something a bit different here. No, it's 2.5. I've just got the bar bent. So we're going to have 1.5 inches clearance on the inside. Okay. The 160 also specifically means that we're dealing with a center to center here. And when you order a 160, you're going to get a 12-inch center to center, and that's indicated down below. Okay. So, which means 13-inch overall. 2.5 overall. Now, the degree or the dimension of the bend, the total offset here, gauging that on the camera, looks like you're just about 4 and probably about 4 1/4. A dimension that they don't specifically give, but that's what it is since we're measuring. Now, your push bar, we talked about how that spanner collar is going to bring you to the matching 2.5. The overall is going to be 1 inch greater than the center to center. This was ordered as 33-inch center to center, US28, and right-hand reverse. All of those had to be specified. The size of this, the hand of the door based on the requirements of the screw package, and the finish. This is made of aluminum with a clear anodized finish. Okay, 628 would be a great way to call that as well. Now, there is a link below this video to a document called, we've gone over the installation instructions. The next one is product catalog, and that's handy because you can look at all of the push and pull bar sets from Hager, and really what I'm driving at is maybe 12-inch center to center is not what you want, and in my experience, that's less common of what you're going to see for pulls. If you wanted a 10-inch, You'd be looking at a 159 naturally. If you wanted 18-inch, even less common, a 161. You can see how those part numbers change as the center to center changes, as the pull type changes as well, whether it's a straight pull or an offset pull. So all those are there and very worthwhile reviewing. They're handy because they will also tell you the finishes that they're available in from that product catalog. And as you scroll through, you'll see all of that material there. So if you're unsure which one you need, review, if you're replacing one, match the dimensional requirements that the door's forcing you to order to those to derive out a part number. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Hager, this is their part number 160D in a US28, or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.